sheriff is on the scene right now in Dry Ridge. The shooting happening at Mulligan and Vallandigham Road. That is where we catch up with our Kelly Rippin with the very latest. Kelly, what can you tell us?
Good morning, Rob and Jackie. As you can see, sheriff's still on scene here at Mulligan Road, and what we're told is that about 11:35 last night, Sean Isles of Dry Ridge, Kentucky, was actually tailing his estranged wife as well as her friend Larry Whitaker, and he actually caused a crash here on Mulligan. I'm going to step out of the way so you guys can see and understand a little bit better about what took place here. So Sean was actually driving that silver Chevy Tahoe, and he caused the accident with that black pickup truck. When he actually caused the crash and the cars came to a stop, he shot his wife with a handgun and then used a rifle to shoot Larry Whitaker. Both Larry Whitaker and Nicole Isles are dead this morning. Now, he actually turned the rifle on himself, shot himself in the stomach and the chest, but he has been airlifted out of the scene here, and he's being treated currently in critical condition at the UC Medical Center. Now, we know a little bit more about what took place escalating to this situation. The Grant County Sheriff's Department tells us they've received multiple phone calls about some property disputes, as well as a call from Nicole Isles as early as yesterday afternoon, stating that she felt uncomfortable and she wanted to file some paperwork against her estranged husband. They actually advised her to go to the courthouse. She did so yesterday, but unfortunately that paperwork was not able to be signed by a judge because it was so late in the afternoon when she filed it. Now, what we know is that Isles lives about 3 miles from here. It's believed he shot them from his car. He actually had 2 guns. As I mentioned, he shot her with a handgun and then had the rifle as well. Another thing we found out this morning, he is currently on probation in Dearborn County, Indiana for some kind of assault. They believe not on Nicole Isles, though on somebody else. So again, right now he is currently in critical condition at UC Medical Center. As soon as daylight breaks here, they're going to bring the accident reconstruction team back out on scene, as well as trying to obtain those warrants for murder against him as he does remain at UC Medical Center. Of course, any updated information we'll bring to you right here, as well as on our website, fox19now.com. Live this morning, Kelly Rippin, Fox 19 Now.
Yeah, and I know you caught up with the sheriff, Kelly. They're being forthcoming with all the information, correct?
Because of so much documentation that took place prior to this incident, they do know a lot of information. I know they did also have a witness on scene. The call came through at about 11:37, and somebody actually came up on the scene at about 11:43. So they did have somebody that was here, kind of knew what took place actually at the scene here, as well as the documentation from Nicole Isles' paperwork. They know a little bit more about what's been going on.
And the other thing is that they have to leave the accident the way it was, but it's chilling that that truck and that SUV is just right behind you, and that's where they say it all went down.
They're actually going to wait until the sun comes up here because they want to have the accident reconstruction scenes on team as well as in the air to make sure they get all of the information they need. All
right, Kelly Rippin reporting live from. All right, Denise, thank you very much. More on that breaking news. The shooting investigation underway right now in Grant County.
Officials saying a man shot 2 people, then turned the gun on himself. This is a map around that area at Mulligan and Vallandigham Roads. Fox 19's Kelly Rippin is live at the scene with the very latest on this breaking news situation. Good morning, Kelly.
Good morning, Rob and Jackie. This is actually the Mount Zion area of northern Kentucky, and what we can tell you right now is that this incident took place actually right here on the street at Mulligan. I'm going to step out of the way so you guys can understand a little bit better about what took place. What we know right now is that Sean Isles was driving that silver Chevy Tahoe. He was tailing his estranged wife, Nicole Isles, and her friend Larry Whitaker in that pickup truck. He purposely caused a crash here on Mulligan Road, and when he did that, the cars came to a stop. He actually pulled out a handgun and shot and killed his estranged wife, Nicole, and then pulled out a rifle and shot and killed Larry Whitaker as well. Again, those 2 people were dead at the scene. Sean Isles then turned the rifle on himself, and when he did so, he shot himself in the stomach and the chest, but he was life-flighted out of here and was taken to UC Medical Center, where he was currently in critical condition and was actually in surgery when I was talking to the Grant County Sheriff's Department. Now, they are still on scene here. They can actually give us a lot of information about what took place leading up to this incident that occurred at about 11:35 last night. They received several calls recently referencing some property disputes, property damage involving the couple who were still legally married but living separately. Now, the last couple of days they had received increased calls, and actually as late as 3 p.m. yesterday, Nicole Isles actually contacted the Sheriff's Department about filing a protection order. Now, It is believed that that paperwork was not signed by a judge at this point, but they are still looking into that information. Again, this has been escalating over the last couple of days. What we do know is that Sean was on probation in Dearborn County, Indiana, for an assault incident not involving Nicole Isles, and he actually was in court on Friday. So he, again, remains in critical condition at UC Medical Center. We'll continue to bring you updated information here from Mount Zion as we get it. Live out in Mount Zion, Kelly Rippin, Fox 19 Now.
And Kelly, a very sad story, but we're also hearing that they had a kid, did they not?
Absolutely, yes. Actually, Nicole had an older daughter, and together the two of them, Sean and Nicole, had a 14-year-old daughter. Of course, we're not releasing any information on her, though.
All right, Kelly Rippin.
Situation.
Well, now that the sun has come up, you can see that sheriff's deputies are back out on scene here on Mulligan Road. I'll step out of the way so you guys can take a look. Right now, they're saying a domestic dispute is at the root of this murder, an attempted suicide, and we are actually closer to Mount Zion. Now, Nicole Isles and her friend Larry Whitaker were traveling in that blue pickup truck whenever they were being tailed by Nicole's estranged husband, Sean. He actually caused the accident on purpose here on Mulligan Road, and at the time when the cars stopped, he shot a handgun and killing Nicole Isles, and then actually pulled out a rifle, killing Larry Whitaker. Sean then turned the gun on himself and attempted suicide, although he was able to be life-flighted out of this area. He is surviving a stomach and chest wound and currently in critical condition at UC Medical Center. Now, again, we said the domestic situation was kind of what escalated to this point. Over the last couple of days, the Sheriff's Department here in Grant County has received multiple calls regarding the couple who are still legally married but living separately. And actually, as late as Monday afternoon, about 3 o'clock, Nicole called the Sheriff's Department talking about filing an emergency protective order against Sean. Unfortunately, they do not believe that paperwork had been signed at all as of yesterday afternoon. Now, we did speak with the sheriff earlier this morning. Let's hear what he had to say.
The thing is, it seems that he was irate, very upset at her. I don't know if there had been anything to stop him from his actions.
You can hear that he said even if that had been filed, he doesn't know if it would have been stopped. Now, Sean Hiles actually is on probation in Dearborn County, Indiana for an assault, but not against Nicole Hiles. So he actually appeared in court, they believe, as late as Friday. Now, again, I'm going to step out of the way because there's actually a drone that the Grant County Sheriff's Department is about to use. You can see now that the daylight has broke, they are going to reconstruct this scene to make sure they know all of the information, and they're going to send that drone up to gather information from the sky as well. As soon as we have video of that, of course, we'll bring it to you right here on Fox 19 Now. Live this morning in Mount Zion, Kelly Rippin, Fox 19 Now.
So, Kelly, it looks like they're going to be on scene for much of the morning.
Absolutely. Actually, Mulligan Road has been shut down since 11:30 last night when this initial call came through. So it's been a while. It doesn't seem to be a very heavily trafficked road, though. So not a lot of people need to be worried about that if you are traveling in this area at all. But yeah, it's been closed down for about the last 8 hours.
Kelly Rippin reporting live. Thank you very much.
We are also following
In Northern Kentucky this morning, a double murder investigation continues.
Kelly Rippin live at the scene in Dry Ridge, digging up the newest information on this developing situation. Kelly, what are you learning now?
Well, as we can show you guys right now, they're actually starting to clean up the accident scene here, and we'll tell you a little bit about what took place here this morning. So you're seeing 2 vehicles here right now. There is a silver Chevy Tahoe as well as this blue pickup truck. I'm gonna have you guys take a look over here and show you kind of what took place. So driver of that Chevy Tahoe was actually Sean Hiles. He is the estranged husband to Nicole Hiles. Nicole and her friend Larry Whitaker were in that blue pickup truck. They were coming here along Mulligan Road, and as they were coming down here, Sean, what they call a pit maneuver, actually hit the side of the car, causing them to spin out and stop. When the cars stopped, Sean Hiles actually opened fire on his wife, Nicole. Again, they are estranged, killing her with a handgun, and then he took a rifle out and killed Larry Whitaker. Both of those people were dead on the scene. He then turned the rifle on himself. He shot himself in the stomach and the chest. He was taken by air care out of the scene here. He is being treated at UC Medical Center and is currently in critical condition. Earlier this morning, when we spoke with the sheriff here in Grant County, he told us that he was in surgery. Now, what led up to this? Well, the Grant County Sheriff's Department is telling us this is a domestic situation that has been unfolding for the last couple of days. They've responded to several calls at the home of Sean Hiles. What they can tell us is that his wife, Nicole, actually contacted them at 3 p.m. yesterday. She was no longer living in the house. She contacted them about filing an emergency protective order, although we believe that has not been signed yet because it came in late yesterday afternoon. Again, still developing details. They're bringing the records in right now, so we're going to get out of the way. As we get new information, we'll be sure to bring it to you right here on Fox 19 Now. Live this morning in Mount Zion, Kelly Rippin, Fox 19 Now.
All right, sad story, Kelly. Thank you very much. You know, we have new information this morning.
Road in Dry Ridge. Our Kelly Rippin closely monitoring this situation, digging up the newest details. Kelly, what's the latest?
Good morning, Rob and Jackie. So you can see actually they just cleared the scene. The wreckers just cleared here, and you can still see the orange paint on the ground here. What we can tell you is that 2 people were killed and 1 person is in critical condition after an attempted murder-suicide. The people involved, Sean and Nicole Hiles, were married, are still legally married, but have been separated now. And Sean was actually following Nicole and her friend Larry Whitaker in a car here along Mulligan Road. As they were driving along here, you can kind of see some of where the track marks have been marked off. They were driving along here, and as they did that, Sean hit the back of the car, causing them to spin out. After the car spun out, he then took a handgun, shot his estranged wife, Nicole Hiles, killing her, and then used a rifle, killing Larry Whitaker. He then turned the rifle on himself. He shot himself in the chest and the stomach. He was transported to UC Medical Center by helicopter. We are told he is in critical condition. He was undergoing surgery this morning. Now, leading up to this event, we do actually have a significant amount of information already this morning. We are told by the Grant County Sheriffs that there have been multiple calls about the Hiles couple, about domestic disputes, as well as things over property damage and disputes there as well. Again, they are still legally married, but Nicole actually yesterday contacted the Grant County Sheriff's Department. She did so because she wanted to file an emergency protective order. We are told that that paperwork did not actually go through yesterday, but she had contacted them as late as 3 p.m. The other thing we know is that Sean Hiles is currently on probation in Dearborn County, Indiana for an assault. This has nothing to do with Nicole Hiles, but he actually appeared in court on Friday, or was supposed to appear in court on Friday. We are not sure if that actually did or did not happen. Again, still a lot of information developing. We do know that the Grant County Sheriff's Department was obtaining 2 warrants of murder for Sean Hiles, depending on if he survives the attempted suicide that took place here early this morning. Again, the scene has just now cleared. Any updated information we'll be sure to bring to you right here on Fox 19 Now. We actually do have video as well that we can show you coming up of a drone that they used actually to see the entire reconstruction of the crash. So we have that as well to show you coming up in our next half hour. We're live this morning in Mount Zion. Kelly Rippin, Fox 19 Now.
And Kelly, even though police have released a lot of information this morning, I mean a lot of information, it still seems like there are a lot of questions about what led up to this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Again, a lot of stuff has been documented because of Nicole Hiles contacting the Sheriff's Department here, as well as information on him previously. I'm sure they're going to dig into Facebook posts and things like that that we've started to see pop up here, but they weren't going to weigh in on any of that yet this morning. Of course, any of that information we'll bring to you right here.
Kelly Rippin reporting live this morning from Dry Ridge. Thank you very much.
And new this morning, a fire breaking out at a home near Gardner and Golden Oak just after morning long. Kelly, what's new?
And you spoke with someone very interesting, have you not?
Very, very close to the situation. We actually talked to Nicole Hiles' brother. He just stopped by the scene here, and of course he's very emotional being at the scene where his sister was killed. A little bit of background information for you guys. We are in Dry Ridge near the Mount Zion area as well on Mulligan Road, and you can kind of see behind me the road is still marked up from where there were 2 cars here early this morning after an accident. Driving one of those cars, Sean Hiles, he was actually following Nicole in a car with another gentleman, Larry Whitaker. He was following them down that road. He purposefully hit them in what sheriffs are calling a pit maneuver, and he hit them to stop the car. When they stopped spinning, he took a handgun and he shot and killed Nicole Hiles, and then he took a rifle and shot and killed Larry Whitaker. And now again, we were just speaking with Nicole Hiles' brother, and he said it's almost impossible to believe that this situation has occurred. He said at one point, of course, Sean was his brother-in-law. They were close. They got along very well. Unfortunately, he said things have taken a turn for the worse with their marriage, as we also know, with backup from the Grant County Sheriff's Department. They said in the last couple of days there have been a lot of things, a lot of reports happening, and her brother told us that actually she filed a protection from abuse order yesterday, and that Sean actually attended her work, took the door handles off of her car. Again, this has continued to escalate. We're still finding more information about this, about what led to this. But Sean also was actually on probation at in Dearborn County, Indiana, for an abuse charge, not against Nicole Hiles. So still a lot of information. He remains in critical condition at UC Medical Center. He was He turned the gun on himself, shot himself in the chest and in the stomach. He was air carried out of this area and was in surgery the last check this morning. Again, any new information we will bring to you right here on Fox 19 Now. Again, we did speak with the brother, and you will be able to hear that interview later tonight on Fox 19 as well as on fox19now.com. But he was very emotional and, of course, not ready to do a live interview with us this morning. We are live in Dry Ridge. Kelly Rippin, Fox 19 Now.
I can imagine our hearts